Hi, and welcome to Marshy's Inspired Studio. If it's your first time, welcome. If you're a solo traveler, woman of a certain age, you're in the right place. Okay, so what I want to talk to you today about is so critical, especially if you are going to travel abroad. This doesn't matter if it's Royal Caribbean, NCL, or just airline tickets or like a train. You need to make sure that you do this. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, okay? Here we are. I am 16 days out of my cruise, and you must have your passport match your airline tickets, okay? So I'm going to repeat this because it is so important. I mean down to the letter, down to the name. So let's say your name is Aaron, and it could be spelled E-R-I-N or A-A-R-O-N or any other different variation. And your reservation agent put it in wrong. And you bought the airline ticket or the train ticket from them. And as a result, it doesn't match your passport exactly. Well, guess what? You could get denied even to go. So you could be there at the airport, ready to go, excited, all your luggage, you're solo, and you're thinking, okay, I got this handled. And the next thing you know, you don't. Or this could happen. You actually get the first leg, right? You get to where you're going. But like for me, my first leg, I go to DC, and then from DC to Barcelona. Okay, well, what if I'm in DC and they say, sorry, it doesn't match, you can't go through. Now, this is what happened to me. So I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that this matches. Now, I am platinum with NCL, which is Norwegian Cruise Line, okay? And so we have a Latitudes award, and they looked me up through Latitudes. Nowhere did they ask me what my full name was on my passport. They only used my first and last name. But when it came to check-in, they wanted a picture of my passport for check-in purposes. Okay, I understand that. But what happened was I bought my airline tickets through Norwegian. Okay, and so this next slide is very important, what I'm about to show you for what I did. Okay, so you'll see here, there's airfare, transfers, online check-in, right? So I'm sitting here going, I've already called the airlines because I'm having to deal with United and Delta. Delta's nice to work with. United is like pulling out teeth. If you have any comments about your favorite airline and why, put it in the comments below. Okay, so United's like, oh, you need to deal with your travel agency. I'm like, okay, can you tell me what my name is on my airline ticket? Well, it's just your first and last name. Okay, but that's not what my passport says. Well, you need to get it changed. Okay. How do I do that? Well, you need to contact them. Now, here it is. It's 9 o'clock at night. I can't get a hold of my travel advisor, right? So I'm here on the NCL website. And down here under help, so up here is help, and down here it says airfare. So I clicked on airfare, okay, and I was able to, get some information, and I reached out to them. Now, and it's down here at the bottom, right? So I scrolled down and I called this number. Now, this is what happened, okay? And this is the part that just burns my butt. So they're like, oh yeah, we can help you change it, but you've got to go to reservations first and have your name changed. Okay, so I called the 1-800 number for NCL. Now it's 9:30 at night after I've already missed an hour on the phone with United. And I'm sitting here going, okay, what do I need to do? Well, reservations like, oh yes, I see here you have Marshy Morgan. I can change it for you for $100. $100. I was like, I'm not paying that. She goes, well, I'll put a note in your file and I'll let him know that that it's wrong. Okay, great. I don't hear from them. I call my travel advisor and they said, oh no, I can change it for you, but it'll be $150 to change my airline tickets. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. What do you mean it's going to cost me $150? I said, no, this is unsatisfactory, because the first thing you should do when you take an airline reservation and take my money is to make sure that the name is correct. They should be asking you this. Standard procedures, right? I was like, let me talk to your supervisor. Supervisor went around and around with me. I told him about calling the airfare. I told him about calling the reservation desk. I talked to him about calling the airline. They're like, it's $150. They misspoke. And we're not a travel agency. And I was like, now wait a minute. I bought my airline tickets from you, so you are acting as a travel agency. I booked my hotel and my airfare through you. And so this escalated. And she goes, I'm sorry, it's just going to be $150. That's what the airlines charge us. We have to charge you. And I'm like, but this isn't my error. This isn't my mistake. Well, ma'am, you should have known. You should have known that it needed to match. And I said, exactly. I didn't know because I've never gone abroad. And she goes, well, they just used your latitudes number and then just used the name that pulled up. I said, but they didn't ask me. So long story short, I had to pay the $150, okay? But then I was pissed. And you need to understand that I'm in hospitality. That's why one of my playlists is food safety, because I teach food safety. So I know how this merry-go-round works, okay? So I said, you know what? I need a credit. She goes, a credit? What do you need a credit for? And I said, for all the anguish that I've had to go through, the hours of trying to get this changed and resolved. She goes, well, I don't know if I can do that. Let me put you on hold. I said, well, you just put me on hold and I'll wait. She comes back. She said, let me get your credit card information. Give her the credit card information. She gives me a credit for $100, not $150, $100. Count your blessings. So the lesson learned here, and this is what I told her. I said, does Norwegian not even care about my safety? That I could have gotten stranded in another country and not able to get home? Now, when you go abroad, you have to show financial responsibility and have insurance. So I have the insurance, right? But if you look at the insurance, they would not have covered that. So I could have lost my whole trip by not having the names match.